Ooh! What's up, GameLeaper? Mike Yetta here. Nah, it's the jizz, don't worry. Now, I feel like a news anchor at the moment because I'm constantly updating you on what's been happening in this Giga 11.13 patch. And that's not going to stop because in this video, I'm going to be revealing the champions who have improved the most over the last couple of days. And let me say, some of these are very, very broken indeed, so you do not want to miss this episode of Keeping Up with the 11.13 patch. Now, just before we unleash out of the blocks, I'm going to inject you with some must-know knowledge. And this can be found on our website, GameLeap.com. So for these champions we're about to mention, and any champion in the game for that matter, if you want to master them, play them as well as Faker, Apto, etc., then it's quite simple. Sign up for that exclusive access, up to 20 Challenger tier videos a week, links in the description and comment section. Now, all the champions we're about to go through, I have taken this from high elo, because really if a champion has a high win rate in high elo, they are probably going to be broken. So the first champion I want to talk about is Viktor in that mid lane. So Viktor has improved this patch, and why? Well, quite simple. The 3 mana mage mythics have all gone down by 200 gold, so Everfrost, Liandry's Anguish, and Luden's Tempest. This means you're getting to that power spike quicker, which is great, of course. And what's also good for Viktor this patch, you're now hitting harder with the new Lichbane, which is giving you a bit more AP. And yes, you might lose a little bit of movement speed. Movement speed on Viktor, though, you have it innately because of your Q. And you can also get movement speed from Cosmic Drive, which has been nerfed later in the game. But what's great about Cosmic Drive as well in 11.13 is you're getting 5 more AP from this as well. So with these 2 items, you're just hitting harder. And because you're getting to your Mage Mythic earlier, you can buy Lichbane and Cosmic Drive earlier. So it's a great patch for Viktor, and his win rate is sitting around 53% in high elo at the moment, so definitely worth picking in the mid lane. Now, another mid laner we have to talk about for this patch, guys, is Oriana, but I'll keep this short. This is very easy to understand. Oriana's win rate is also improved by about 3%, just like Viktor's, and the reason being is because you're getting to that Luden's Tempest spike earlier. And because mages typically, guys, are great at scaling, so the later the game goes, the more powerful they become, with Oriana, because you're accelerating that mythic power spike, you're getting that earlier, and also accelerating your scaling as a result. Now, she is still kind of vulnerable at the moment, because a few patches ago, your E got nerfed, and Seeker's Arm Guard is nowhere near as strong as it used to be, so you can still get dumpstered in the mid lane, but if you can play Oriana and you know her matchups and how to control waves, etc., she's actually a pretty decent pick, but yes, I wouldn't really recommend her in lower elos, or if you don't have that much experience on her. Now, the next champion who has benefited from the 11.13 changes, guys, I know lots of you think that he might be the most broken champion in 11.13, and to be honest, yeah, you're right. And this is Nocturne, of course, and the reason Nocturne is so broken this patch, and I mentioned it in yesterday's video, is because of the new Stride Breaker. Because you don't need the dash because you already have your ultimate to do the work for you, the new 90% slow you get as soon as you activate that active, it is GG. It is curtains for the enemy AD carry you're jumping on, or the enemy mid laner, whoever it is, they're going to have a super hard time dealing with you, and even if they do get peel from their Lulu support or whoever it is, it's not going to be enough. And what's funny is that Nocturne was already strong before this patch. Now his win rate has improved by over 3% again in higher elo, so make sure you abuse this before it's too late, and I wouldn't even be surprised if Riot hotfix Nocturne to stop the current abuse. Now, another champion who was doing pretty well before this patch is Sylas, who has improved this patch, of course, because of the new Cosmic Drive change, so you're doing a bit more damage, and simply because you're getting to that Everfrost power spike quicker. This means that when those mid-game teamfights roll around, you're getting access to the slow to the root, which then allows you to land your chains and set up kills for yourself and your teammates, and it's just making it easier for you to create plays, of course, and to carry games. So Sylas is really happy with its patch at the moment. Now, another champion who's happy with this patch is Shaco, and not because of the Prowler's Claw change, because the Prowler's Claw change did impact some AD assassins. I'm talking about AP Shaco. So if you're playing a bit of Shaco support maybe, but especially Shaco jungle, because Liandry's Anguish is the go-to mythic, this is now 200 gold cheaper, of course, so you're getting to that mythic spike earlier, and then you're getting access to the ability haze that it's giving you because you're getting your other items sooner as well, and with the Cosmic Drive change too, because your 2-shift poison's going to hit harder, your box is going to hit harder, your ultimate is going to hit harder. It's just a great all-round patch for AP Shaco, and this has seen his win rate in higher elos improved by 3%. Now, who else has improved this patch? Well, I know. Wannabe Gandalf. So for Vigor, this patch is looking more cosmic, not just because of the Cosmic Drive change, which is giving you more AP, which is, yeah, probably the most important stat for Vigor, but also because you're getting to your Everfrost power spike earlier, guys, so you're going to be able to peel yourself earlier in games and also set up plays for your teammates, like with Sylas. Your cage, harmonized with Everfrost slow and root, is a deadly combination, and this has seen Vigor's win rate, like Shaco's, improve by over 3% in just a short amount of time. Now, one champion who's coming back into the meta slowly, guys, is Hecarim, and I know that Hecarim was played so much earlier in the season, but the recent nerfs have had a bit of an impact, but he has been buffed as well recently to compensate for them, and this patch, because people are finally realizing that Divine Sunder is so broken, and so broken on Hecarim, this is seen as win rate in higher elos go over 3% this patch. And Hecarim is one of those champions a bit like Darius, where you're always going to be useful in lower elo, just because there really isn't that much counterplay. But I'm telling you, build Divine Sunder and play Hecarim, and you will understand what the jizz is talking about. It's super super good. Now, this next champion I want to talk about, guys, this is very exciting because I'm sure you guys are all aware of the Inting Scion mechanic, right? Where you run it down. Well, what changed this patch that might give that playstyle a boost? Well, of course, the new Hull Breaker item, right? Which is giving you more damage to towers and increasing your split pushing power. So if you think of a Scion who runs it down into the tower with a Hull Breaker, you're taking that tower quicker because you're passive and the Hull Breaker passive. And when you throw in Sunfire Aegis and Titanic Hydra in there as well, this is only going to amplify that damage, and this has seen Scion's win rate improve by around 3.5% already this patch. So Inting Hullbreaker Scion, if any of you have played this by the way, please let me know in the comments. It sounds super interesting, literally. But I also want the rest of you to test it out as well, just to see how legit it is. Now, we mentioned Nocturne before, guys. Now, one other champion who has benefited massively from the Stridebreaker change isn't actually a champion who abuses Stridebreaker. So who could this be? Well, if you think in the top lane, if you're playing a ranged champion, really the only thing that could cuck you big time was the old Stridebreaker because of the dash, of course. And what this used to mean was that even if you do position perfectly, because they have Stridebreaker's dash and it's so obnoxious, you know, it really doesn't matter how well you're playing. But now, because the dash has been removed, Quinn has improved her win rate by 4% in high elo already. Now, Gale Force did get nerfed a little bit. If you do go Gale Force, okay, big deal. You lose a bit of movement speed, but this doesn't really mean anything. But yes, the fact that Stridebreaker no longer has a dash when you're going into popular champions like Darius, Garen, it's a lot easier to win your lane and then stomp the game afterwards. So I'd highly recommend if you want a top laner, if you want a ranged champion to counter all the melee champions you see, Quinn is definitely the champion to do it on. Now, another mid lane mage who has improved this patch, guys, I'm sorry, I sound like a broken record mentioning all these champions, but I can't run away from the facts, and the facts are these. Ryze's win rate, 4.5%, an increase. And why is this? Well, the Cosmic Drive change. Yes, movement speed is actually kind of important on Ryze, but you're getting more damage, which in this meta is pretty much everything. And the Everfrost buff, 200 gold cheaper, again, like Sylas, like Vigor, you're getting to that power spike quicker, which means that you can peel yourself earlier from all the damage and CC being thrown at you in the mid lane, but you also have access to that playmaking potential earlier as well, obviously because you're getting to that mythic spike quicker. How many times have I said mythic spike in this video, by the way? But I will say this, just be careful about blind picking Ryze because he does have some hard counters like Fizz, for example, and some other ranged mages who can really bully you, but generally speaking, Ryze is in a super strong position again, so well worth picking in the mid lane. Now, another champion in the top lane, guys, who used to abuse Stridebreaker a lot was Urgot, and I mentioned in yesterday's video, Urgot with Titanic Hydra and Stridebreaker. This is still here, by the way. It's a very scary combination of items, but now the dash has been removed, it's like, well, what does Urgot actually have? How on earth can his win rate go up 5% then? Well, the reason for this, it does actually have Breaker in the name, but it's a different type of Breaker, and this is the new Hull Breaker item, of course, which we mentioned for Scion. And the fact this is giving you more resistance and more armor in the side lane, against melee champions, you are actually unkillable. Urgot with a max W and the on hit from Titanic Hydra, it is impossible to get close to it. And if the enemy team does send 3 or 4 of you, I'm not even joking, you might even be able to 1v3 or 1v4 now. It's that darn good. And if you are an Urgot main out there, just tell everyone how broken this is in the comments. It's nuts. Now, the champion who has licked their lips most because of the changes, guys, this patch is another mid lane mage. Oh my god. No, but seriously, I'm actually happy about this because this champion hasn't really been great in solo queue this season, but now because of this change, Syndra is back in the game in the solo queue department anyway. And this is great news. Well, probably unless you're playing against her. But yes, the fact you're getting to your Luden's Tempest power spike earlier, this is great. This means that when you queue someone and R them, yeah, they're going to die. That's all you need. Now, like Oriana, yes, you are vulnerable because of the phase rush nerf a few patches ago and because of the Seeker's Arm Guard nerf as well. But with Prowler's Claw nerf, you're actually safer against these AD assassins. The fact that your scaling is just accelerated means you always have the damage to one-shot anyone who gets near you, and this is why Syndra's win rate again has gone up over just 5% in Master and above so far this patch. So if you guys want a lane bully, a great blind pick champion in the mid lane, and your team needs some magic damage, Syndra is honestly one of the best picks now. Just yeah, remember that if you do headbutt still, you are going to die. So those are the champs that benefited most from the 11-13 patch, guys. Any thoughts in the comments, like the champion you're playing at the moment, your favorite champion, are they broken with the new items? Do they feel good? Are you winning more games? Like, what's the go? Tell me in the comments what's happening with your favorite champion. And until tomorrow's video, this has been the Jizz. Remember, by the way, to hit that sub button. Bye.